Vande Purushottamam,
Vande
Vande Purushottamam, Vande Purushottamam. It's my pleasure to welcome everyone to our 14th National Satsang UK congregation. I cordially invite you and your family to celebrate the holy 134th birth anniversary of our Supreme Love Lord, Sree Thakur Anukulchandra, with the blessings of Param Pujyapad Acharyadev, Sree Dada. Sree Thakur Anukulchandra, a living ideal. Many discovered Sree Thakur as their guru. He drew a complete sketch of life, showing us how to live and grow. His ideology revolved around being and becoming, that is, exist and evolve. People from various walks of life, including eminent philosophers, social reformers, scientists, etc., visited him and asked him various questions on a wide variety of topics. They found simple and fulfilling solutions through his insightful and profound perception. In his lifetime, there has been thousands of divine messages of Sree Thakur on family, education, social life, economics, science, politics, philosophy, and many others. His own handwritten book, Satyanisharan, revealed manifold problems and their corresponding solutions. So now we start our program. We hope to get enlightened furthermore with Sree Thakur's philosophy and his ideology. We start our program by reading the holy book Satyanisharan, English translation. For this, I would like to request Nabin Modalda from London, UK. Nabinda, you can unmute yourself. Jai Guru Dada.
Jai Guru Ma and Jai Guru everyone. I'm going to read the Banis from the holy book Pursuit of Truth and Satyanushara. With a least weakness, you cannot be truly sincere. And so long as your thoughts and words do not agree, the dirt within shall not be touched. Once word and thought become alike, the dirt cannot collect within. The hidden rubbish floats up in words and sin cannot remain within. Failure need not be weakness. To fail to try is weakness. If despite your all-out effort in anything, you fail to succeed, no harm, carry on, don't stop. That unblemished effort must carry you toward the goal. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru Dada. Thank you for reading such a beautiful message of Sree Thakur. Before we move on to our next segment of our program, I'd like to say that with the blessings of Guru Parivar and on behalf of Satsang UK, it is my great pleasure to announce the launching of our online souvenir quest. As directed by Rev Sipaida, this year we have write-ups of inspiring personal experiences during the pandemic from Guru Bhais, Guru Bones, and children across UK and Europe. Also, there are some wonderful writings of Sree Thakur's philosophy from India and other parts of the world. The souvenir is available on our Satsang UK website page and on our Facebook page.
If you go to the Satsang UK website in satsangwatch.uk in the publication section, just click on this link. And this is our this year souvenir. So you can read, go through all these things. Today, this year is the highest number of articles given by all the UK and Europe Guru Bhais. Thank you.
We will now move on to our next segment of the program, which is Bhajan. First of all, I would like to invite Kalpana Ma from London, UK to offer a bhajan to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Thakur. Kalpana ma, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Guruvi.
Thank you.
First of all, I offer my pranam to Sri Sri Thakur. I offer my pranam to Sri Sri Padma. I offer my pranam to Pradhan Acharyadev Sri Sri Dada. I offer my pranam to Acharyadev Sri Sri Dada. And Ishta Parivar Sabhi ko mera Anand Jai. Jai Guru everyone. I am singing a Hindi bhajan. दीना दयाल ठाकुर दाता दयाल मेरे प्रिय परम गुरु परम आधार मेरे दीना दयाल ठाकुर दाता दयाल मेरे प्रिय परम गुरु परम आधार मेरे मालिक शरण तेरे तारन पेरन भी आए मालिक शरण तेरे तारन पेरन भी आए जीवन पथ पर केवल सेवक मुझको बनाए इष्ट सेवा इष्ट कर्म सत्य धर्म धर्म मेरे इष्ट सेवा इष्ट कर्म सत्य धर्म धर्म मेरे दीना दयाल ठाकुर दाता दयाल मेरे प्रिय परम गुरु परम आधार मेरे दीना दयाल ठाकुर दाता दयाल मेरे प्रिय परम गुरु परम आधार मेरे दीनहीन दास तेरा भक्ति निष्ठा बढ़ाओ दीनहीन दास तेरा भक्ति निष्ठा बढ़ाओ सदगुरु तुम हो समर्थ सदगुरु तुम हो समर्थ प्राण शक्ति जगाओ पूर्ण पुरुष सर्द प्राण मुक्त साधार मेरे पूर्ण पुरुष सर्द प्राण मुक्त साधार मेरे दीन दयाल ठाकुर दाता दयाल मेरे प्रिय परम गुरु परम आधार मेरे दीन दयाल ठाकुर दाता दयाल मेरे प्रिय परम गुरु परम आधार मेरे पुरुषोत्तम जीवननाथ परम प्रेमी शुभवर्षी पुरुषोत्तम जीवननाथ परम प्रेमी शुभवर्षी शासन है विधि विधान शासन है विधि विधान परम दयाल समदर्शी ईश्वर प्रकृति गुरु प्रीति मुखर प्राणादा ईश्वर प्रकृति गुरु प्रीति मुखर प्राणादा दीन दयाल ठाकुर दाता दयाल मेरे प्रिय परम गुरु परम आधार मेरे दीन दयाल ठाकुर दाता दयाल मेरे प्रिय परम गुरु परम आधार मेरे परम आधार मेरे परम आधार मेरे जय गुरु
Jai Guru, Kalpana, Jai Guru. Thank you so much. Such a lovely start of our program. You took us to Devghar. Very melodious bhajan, including with the background music. Very nice. Thank you very much. We pray to the lotus feet of Shishi Thakur for the well-being of you and your family. May Shishi Thakur shower his blessings on you. Thank you, Kalpana. Thank you. Thank you, Jai Guru. Just a little bit of I'm going to tell you about Shishi Thakur's birth. Shishi Thakur, our love lord, was born in the Pabna district, Bangladesh, which is in Bangladesh now, on 30th Bhadra, Talnamami Tithi. That is why whole Bhadra month is the holy month for us. We celebrated whole Bhadra month and did so many satsangs and all over the world. We have joined and we really celebrated whole month as our kind of a utsav. Right. We will now request Monida to offer the next bhajan.
Jai Guru Ma, thank you very much.
Jai Guru Dada.
Jai Guru to all Dada Ma. I'm going to sing a Nepalese bhajan. ठाकुर शरणमा जाऊं उनकै भजन कीर्तन गाऊं ठाकुर शरणमा जाऊं उनकै भजन कीर्तन गाऊं सबैको सहारा लाउँछन् किनारा सद्गुरुको धाम जाऊं सबैको सहारा लाउँछन् किनारा सद्गुरुको धाम जाऊं ठाकुर शरणमा जाऊं उनकै भजन कीर्तन गाऊं ठाकुर शरणमा जाऊं उनकै भजन कीर्तन गाऊं पावनमा आए ठाकुर अनुकूल नाम लिएर पावनमा आए ठाकुर अनुकूल नाम लिएर यही नाम सतनाम हो जपौं साँझ सबेरा यही नाम सतनाम हो जपौं साँझ सबेरा जीवन बिताउने पाप मिटाउने यही हो सबको आधार जीवन बिताउने पाप मिटाउने यही हो सबको आधार ठाकुर शरणमा जाऊं उनकै भजन कीर्तन गाऊं ठाकुर शरणमा जाऊं उनकै भजन कीर्तन गाऊं वन्दे पुरुषोत्तमं वन्दे पुरुषोत्तमं वन्दे पुरुषोत्तमं वन्दे पुरुषोत्तमं ठाकुर शरणमा जाऊं उनकै भजन कीर्तन गाऊं ठाकुर शरणमा जाऊं उनकै भजन कीर्तन गाऊं सत्य सनातन धर्म यही हो हिन्दू बौद्ध ईसाईको सत्य सनातन धर्म यही हो हिन्दू बौद्ध ईसाईको यजन जजन इष्ट भिटीले कल्याण हुन्छ सबैको यजन जजन इष्ट भिटीले कल्याण हुन्छ सबैको दीक्षा नै हो दिव्य ज्योति यही हो ज्ञान भण्डार दीक्षा नै हो दिव्य ज्योति यही हो ज्ञान भण्डार ठाकुर शरणमा जाऊं उनकै भजन कीर्तन गाऊं ठाकुर शरणमा जाऊं उनकै भजन कीर्तन गाऊं वन्दे पुरुषोत्तमं 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 जय गुरु
Jai Guru Manida, Jai Guru. What a lovely and soulful bhajan even though it is in Nepali, and I'm sure everybody has been just, you said that zooming around, with the bhajan, and it's a kind of a kirtan as well. So your bhajan is full of soul, and definitely it has straight away gone to Thakurji. Thank you very much, Dada, for singing such a lovely and soulful
Thank you
bhajan.
very much, Mother. I did try my best.
Absolutely fantastic, Dada.
Thank you.
We prayed the lotus feet of Shishi Thakur for the well-being of you and your family. May Shishi Thakur shower his blessings on you. Thank you, Monida. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
After listening to such a beautiful bhajans, let us now move on to the next segment, that is Ishta Alochana. For this, I would like to request Dr. Binoy Sarkar from Lancaster, UK. First, I would like to give a little bit of introduction of Dr. Binoy Sarkar. He's a lecturer in environmental science from Lancaster University. He's PhD on environmental science from University of South Australia. So I would like to request Binoyda and to enlighten us with your jajan.
Thank you everyone again, and welcome to this congregation. And this congregation is very special because we are celebrating the birth anniversary of Sri Sri Thakur Anukulchandra. And I offer my pranam to Sri Sri Thakur and all the members of his family. Again, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk a little bit on this auspicious event today. Now, as Didi has just mentioned that I work at a university and environmental science is my profession. So I thought to give you a little glimpse of a very important contemporary concept that the corporate world today is implementing or trying to implement in the environmental or in the social and governance sector. So Sri Sri Thakur, as we say that Sri Sri Thakur is one of the biggest and one of the most renowned philosopher of modern world, because the messages, the principles of life he has given, those are enormous. And in a normal person, for them to understand and to capitalize on those messages and to implement them in our everyday life is so challenging. He was such a vast personality because he was God to us, as we say. Now, the topic that I am going to tell is environmental social governance, and how Sri Sri Thakur explained that many years ago, when today's corporate world even didn't started thinking about it. So we do research about this thing, and I am using this slide just as a definition of what is this environmental social governance thing. And as you can see here, if we take this as a definition here, with the inception of the term sustainable development that we hear very often these days, many market participants, that's the corporate world, including institutional and private investors, because this corporate world, it runs by investments by different parties, different stakeholders, want to consider environmental sustainability in their investment decisions. I will show an example in a second how. However, until the upsurge of environmental, social, and governance investing, which is closely associated with sustainability, achieving sustainable development goals are very challenging. So the key message here is that the achieving these three pillars, environmental, social, and governance things, is very much important to achieve sustainability. Now, as I said, I would give an example. For example, in the environmental sustainability sphere, we often see this kind of advertisement, like you will find written on a plastic bottle or a can of a drink that we are 100% recyclable. So the companies, they take pride that their product or their materials are recyclable. So they are trying to show to the consumers, to the public, that they are doing something good to the environment. Now, here, again, looking at the concept of this environmental, social, and governance pillars, that means it should be socially conscious investors and stakeholders, and they will invest more keeping in mind about these three pillars. So the investments and the access of a company's profit, that will depend on this socially conscious investment, and that's how ultimately it will impact the world in a positive way. So this ESG, environmental, social, governance, that leads to sustainability. So these are the three different pillars. Social, you can see better communication and doing help for people, doing good for people's health, etc. Environmental is, I have shown one example, that the recyclable materials that we should use. We should use limited amount of food and good healthy food to keep healthy. And the governance part. So the governance part comes from the corporate leadership, how they manage their people, how an ethical aspect, spiritual aspect is probably also involved in that governance. Now let's see how Sree Thakur looked at those things. Say, for example, environment. Okay, because environment is a biggest component in that three pillars that I have said. Now, Sree Thakur defines environment as environment is that which rouses us by impulses, keeping our consciousness awakened. Very important words. Our consciousness, the ethical and spiritual values, those should be very much awakened in the right sense of environment. So we can see immediately that environment is not probably something just a physical matter. Someone can recycle a plastic bottle, but how someone can take a good quality of a man to another person. For example, how I take my father's good qualities to myself and implement that in my life. How we take the godly qualities of Sree Thakur to implement in our everyday life. Okay, so Sree Thakur says that is also a part of the environment and good environment. So the environment can be divided into two very distinct parts. One is physical environment, one is spiritual, ethical environment. Now we will try to see here how Sree Thakur told us, what Sree Thakur taught us about that spiritual or ethical part of the environment for our betterment. Now, a prey of python. Here, Thakur says, he who lacks in keeping his environment healthy, elated, and elevated, where existence is bested and nourished, is a prey of python positively. Now, here Sree Thakur is emphasizing on healthy, elated, and elevated environment. Healthy, we all know, healthy can be again both in the physical and in the spiritual way. For example, Sree Thakur advises not to eat non-vegetarian food, because this non-vegetarian food at the very immediate instance, it puts more environmental impact, the meat and other things. That's why Sree Thakur says eat vegetarian food, and that we all know now, and scientists have also shown by their research that the vegetarian food are healthy for us, more healthy for us. And elated and elevated, this is not probably something like food or physical thing, but elated. Can we encourage a person? Can we encourage the person, the people? For example, I work in the university. Can I encourage my students for doing good, thing in terms of physical activities and the ethical activities as well? Can we keep them motivated? How we keep them motivated and elevated in life? So that's Sri Thakur has emphasized, and he has given ways. He has given thousands and hundreds and thousands of messages. For example, we have a book called Satyanusaran, and Sri Thakur wrote this book, very small book, but it has such an important different messages given by Sri Thakur himself, and that helps us to make our life to better, to help the environment becoming healthy, elated, and elevated. Sri Thakur also says in the form of siren of self-interest. He says, "He who knows not that his interest roams in the wailing up of the environment and is disinterested in picking it up, pushing the surroundings in health, wealth, and knowledge, is lured surely by the siren of interest, which diverts him to deteriorating." So here Thakur says, gives three different ways what can improve the environment, what can make a person perfect, what can make a person a better person. And that is achieved by improving the environment. And again here Thakur emphasizes on health, wealth, and knowledge. Now Sri Thakur is a very practical, he was a very practical person. Okay, in our everyday life we need knowledge, we need wealth, everything, but will they come automatically, or how can we earn these things, health, wealth, and knowledge, in an ethical and spiritual way? That Sri Thakur taught us. Now, save thy environment. He says, "Let thy service be open to all, but take it not from others until dire necessity arises. Thus, keep your environment indebted to your service and be honored." So here, in this message, Sri Thakur says, to achieve all those health, wealth, and knowledge, and everything in our life, we need to keep ourselves open for service to everyone surrounding us, living around us. And Sri Thakur says, take other people's help when necessary, but emphasize more to give rather than taking. So service should be open from all of us to everyone. So that is how a better environment can be developed. Sri Thakur also gives some warning to us. He says, without nourishing the environment through compassion, love, and service. Compassion, love, and service, these are the three things are very center to Sri Thakur's principles, Sri Thakur's philosophy. We need to love. Love is the only, love, compassion, and service. These are the ways that can remove or that can prevent or stop all the conflicts that are going on in the world right now. Sri Thakur says, soothing with resonant sympathy, sorrows, and disappointments, when individuals of same interest live on slaughtering others, those that environ them to protect their existence. We can see this happening in this world. If we look at the world crisis today, the political crisis, countries are indulging in wars, killing each other. Why this is happening? Because the environment, lack of compassion, love, and service, and that is creating very serious, dire consequences to our own existence. We have these days atomic bombs, and if one of them is applied, the whole civilization will be ruined in a second. So we need love, compassion, and service. That's what Thakur emphasizes here. So Thakur says, they quiver, outbreak with roaring roars, hunger shouts with cramps of cruelty, tilt in every heart, fangs of existence screams with thrill, war is inevitable. So how important is to build the immediate environment around us through compassion, love, and service. And Thakur also says, live tremendously. If thou wishest to live, live tremendously, with an uphill exuberance of life and light, smearing with service and worship, demanding least possible requisite from environment that is required as a normal stand you on to move. So Sree Thakur again in this message says that you provide your service, we provide our service to the people living around us, and at the same time we remain concentric to some ideal. We worship the idealism, we worship Sree Thakur. That is why when we do all these things, when we try to grow and when we try other people to grow, we need to be centric to an ideal. And Sree Thakur is exactly that person or that personality to us. We remain concentric to Sree Thakur so that he can show us the right pathways for life and right pathways to improve our growth. And least possible requisite from the environment. Do not demand. Sree Thakur says we should not demand too much from the environment. Rather, we should give our love, compassion, and service to the environment. And regarding this perfection or perfect environment, Thakur says, when ideal, individual, and environment fulfill one another in a concord with an uplift of exuberance that moves the life onward with an easy, intelligent flow, perfection resides there indeed. So as I mentioned in the previous slide as also, to make our environment perfect, to provide our love, compassion, and service perfectly or in a good way to other people, we need to remain concentric to some ideal. We need to fulfill each other. It's not only my fulfillment. I need to think about fulfillment of my environment, my people around. That Sree Thakur teaches us. So whoever serves the environment for his own sake shall lose it. And he who does it for Lord's sake shall be crowned. So this is very important message here. This Thakur says, you make your people around you, make their life better. At the same time, you should love your Lord. You do things for the sake of your Lord. And this is not very difficult. In normal words, normal sense, it might say, okay, how do we do something for the Lord? Actually, Thakur teaches us that doing for your people is doing for the Lord. But you need to be concentric to that Lord's ideology. And that can crown us, that can give the happiest moment, happiest life in everybody's life. So with this, I would conclude here, and I would urge whoever are listening this, whoever are attending this congregation today, I would urge you all to please come to the lotus feet of Sree Thakur, follow his messages, follow his philosophy of life, and grow and improve, make improvement in your life. Joy Guru, everyone.
Thank you, Dada. Thank you so much for your such an enlightening Ishta Prashango and such inspiring as well. Thank you, Dada.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dada. We prayed the lotus feet of Sree Thakur for the well-being of you and your family. May Sree Thakur shower his blessings on you. Thank you, Dada. Joy Guru. Before I invite our next participant, I'd like to request my colleague, Mrs. Tumpa Ghosh, whom I lovingly call as a Tumpadi, to anchor the remaining part of the session. But before I call Tumpadi, I would like to move on to the next bhajan. For this, I'd like to request Sharmishtha to offer a bhajan to our love Lord.
Jai Guru, everyone. I offer this bhajan to the lotus feet of Sree Thakur. प्रभु जी तूने कैसा रास रचायो कैसा रचायो, प्रेम जाल में फंस गया मनवा, तुम बिन कुछ न सुहायो। प्रभु जी तूने कैसा रास रचायो, कैसा रास रचायो। मोह को तूरा माया हटाई, भक्ति प्रेम का पाठ पढ़ाई, भक्ति प्रेम का पाठ पढ़ाई। विषय भरम सब बिखर गया अब, विषय भरम सब बिखर गया अब। तूने नीति बतायो, तूने नीति बतायो, प्रेम जाल में फंस गया मनवा, तुम बिन कुछ न सुहायो। प्रभु जी तूने कैसा रास रचायो, कैसा रास रचायो, रास रचायो। जगत मुझको लागे पराया, मान लाल सा सबको भुलाया, मान लाल सा सबको भुलाया। सकल वासना बंधन छोड़ा, सकल वासना बंधन छोड़ा। तुमसे प्रीत लगायो, तुमसे प्रीत लगायो, प्रेम जाल में फंस गया मनवा, तुम बिन कुछ न सुहायो। प्रभु जी तूने कैसा रास रचायो, कैसा रास रचायो। जन्म जन्म की प्यास बुझाई, चरण में आश्रय मैंने पाई, चरण में आश्रय मैंने पाई। भव भय शंका ताप दहन को, भव भय शंका ताप दहन को, तुमने आज मिटायो, तुमने आज मिटायो। प्रेम जाल में फंस गया मनवा, तुम बिन कुछ न सुहायो। प्रेम जाल में फंस गया मनवा, तुम बिन कुछ न सुहायो। प्रभु जी तूने कैसा रास रचायो, कैसा रास रचायो। अब तो तू ही मेरी शक्ति, अब तो तू ही मेरी शक्ति, दास हूँ तेरा सेवा करूँ मैं, दास हूँ तेरा सेवा करूँ मैं, जीवन तुझको चरायो, जीवन तुझको चरायो, प्रेम जाल में फंस गया मनवा, तुम बिन कुछ न सुहायो, प्रेम जाल में फंस गया मनवा, तुम बिन कुछ न सुहायो, प्रभु जी तूने कैसा रास रचायो, कैसा रास रचायो, ओ कैसा रास रचायो, कैसा रास रचायो.
Jai Guru, everyone. And Shomishta, you have sung this rendition beautifully, absolutely a soothing one. And also the background music made it even more beautiful. May you and your family continue to offer such devotional songs and kirtans at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Thakur. I pray to Thakur for you and your family's well-being. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
We will now move on to another bhajan, which will be offered by Mishtu Chaudhary from South End, UK.
যুগে যুগে তুমি এসেছো ধরায়, হে পতিত পাবন। যুগে যুগে তুমি এসেছো ধরায়, হে পতিত পাবন। যুগে যুগে তুমি এসেছো ধরায়, হে পতিত পাবন। নামটি তোমার বিপদ তারণ, নামটি তোমার বিপদ তারণ, শ্রী মধুসূদন, হে পতিত পাবন। যুগে যুগে তুমি এসেছো ধরায়, হে পতিত পাবন। নাসিয়া যত ধর্মের গ্লানি, আসিয়া শ্রী হরি বাঁচালে ধরণী। নাসিয়া যত ধর্মের গ্লানি, আসিয়া শ্রী হরি বাঁচালে ধরণী। ত্রেতায় রাখিলে সতী সীতামায়, ত্রেতায় রাখিলে সতী সীতামায়, বধিয়া মহা রাবণ, হে পতিত পাবন। যুগে যুগে তুমি এসেছো ধরায়, হে পতিত পাবন। যত অনাচার, যত ব্যভিচার, যত হাহাকার ভবে, যত অনাচার, যত ব্যভিচার, যত হাহাকার ভবে, তব আগমনে বিশ্বধারায় নব জাগরণ হবে। মর্তবাসীর ক্রন্দন শুনি বাজাইছ বাঁশি, হে রাধা স্বামী। মর্তবাসীর ক্রন্দন শুনি বাজাইছ বাঁশি, হে রাধা স্বামী। দ্রাপরে বাঁচালে দ্রৌপদী মায়ে, দ্রাপরে বাঁচালে দ্রৌপদী মায়ে, বধিয়া দুর্যোধন হে পতিত পাবন যুগে যুগে তুমি এসেছো ধরায় হে পতিত পাবন যুগে যুগে তুমি এসেছো ধরায় হে পতিত পাবন নামটি তোমার বিপদ তারণ নামটি তোমার বিপদ তারণ শ্রী মধুসূদন হে পতিত পাবন যুগে যুগে তুমি এসেছো ধরায় হে পতিত পাবন হে পতিত পাবন জয় গুরু
Joy Guru Mishtu, such beautiful wordings. Juge juge eshecho tumi thorai he potito pavon. Beautiful singing, absolutely wonderful. And you have sung with such great feelings from the bottom of your heart. May you continue singing such devotional songs. And I pray to Thakur for you and your family's well-being. Joy Guru Mishtu. So Thakur in Shottanusaram says, surrender to his will. Don't try to make him yield to you because he alone is beautiful to you. And that's what we heard in the song that Mishtu has just sung. So in the Western world, as Satsangis, we always wait for new Satsangis to join us here. And today in our congregation, we have with us Rothikanto Ranabhai, who has very recently arrived in Germany and is doing masters in informatics. Also recently, with the blessings of Sri Acharyadev Dada, he has received the Holy Panja of SPR. On behalf of Satsang UK, I would like to welcome Rothikanto Bhai to this platform to offer his Ishtu Alochona. Joy Guru Rothikanto Bhai.
Joy Guru.
Joy.
Joy Guru to everyone. Today we are celebrating the 14th National UK Satsang congregation on the occasion of 134th birth anniversary of our love Lord, Sree Thakur Anukulchandra. I would like to thank for giving me the opportunity to speak something about Sree Thakur. I would like to start with why should we take initiation and connect ourselves to the living ideal? But before knowing why we should take initiation, we should know about the living ideal, who is he and how to know him. See, Avatar, Purushottam and Sadguru are the various forms of ideal we believe, but the root cause of their emergence is the nature of Sanatan Dharma. So what is Sanatan Dharma? It is the religion of survival and growth. So when the nature of Sanatan Dharma is distorted by the leftists and the hypocrites, the public psyche is misled by interpreting the meaningless meaning of the Vedas, the Upanishads, and the Veda-approved facts given by our sages. As a result of this, the human life gets in trouble and human is anxious in search of the real path for protection. And only then does the return of the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Father, takes place. Sree Thakur says, Dharma jekhane bipaki bahone ব্যর্থ অর্থ ধায় তখনই প্রেরিত আবির্ভূত হন পাপী পরিত্রাণ পায়. So where religion carries the calamity and carries on with the meaningless meaning, only then the Lord emerges, the sinner gets salvation. So when they comes, we should not disobey them and take their shelter. Otherwise, it dwells in darkness and ignorance unknowingly. Sree Thakur also says, धरे न प्रेरित वर्तमान, अंधकार में करे प्रयाण. So, according to the time and circumstances, the Supreme Lord should be kept in the axis of our life, and that is the life of religion. That is why we should take initiation. Once a gentleman inquired to Sree Thakur that he was surrounded by various problems. So how could he overcome it and conquer it? Sree Thakur said that Kim Kurvanti Graha Sarvasya Kendre Brihaspati. Brihaspati, we know, is the guru of the gods. So he should be kept at the center of our life. He should be there in every aspect of our life, in every phases of our life. The devotee said that he has a supernatural concept in relation to religion. Sree Thakur said that there is or is not something called supernatural, but in order to hold him, one has to think in such a way that, Thakur, you love me or not, but I will love you. Your happiness is my happiness. All the cells of my body should be concentric. If our life is not concentric, then everything will be disintegrated. So, if we consider Sree Thakur as our living ideal and lead our life accordingly, according to his situation and according to his instructions, there cannot be any misfortune. This is for sure. But it matters how much truthfully we are to Sree Thakur, how much truthful we are to Sree Thakur. It does not mean that we just take initiation of Sree Thakur and we do nothing as told by him. Then nobody can save us. So for it, we should follow his guidelines properly and truthfully. Recently, my family got into a situation of life and death. They met with a road accident in India. The car rolled along the roadside to a deep trench in order to give a way to the nearby vehicle which was passing by. So the car was rolled for a complete 3 rounds, and after that also nothing could harm them, to my family. The thing that saved them was because of the Ishtabhriti they would offer daily morning to Sree Thakur according to his instructions, and also the continuous repetition of the holy name of Sree Thakur. After this instance, when the nearby people came to see what happened there, so they were asking to my family, where are the passengers? Did anybody took them to the hospital? They couldn't believe by seeing the condition of the car, which was fully broken, and seeing my family that they were standing there and they were only inside and now standing as if nothing happened to them. So I would say it is a matter of how much we surrender ourselves to Sree Thakur and follow him in our every phases of life. Pujanya Bhavaida also used to say frequently that suppose we are given a fan, a handmade fan, and we are just holding it and thinking, why am I not getting any air? This will be really a madness. If we will not move the fan, then how the air will come? That is what happens after taking initiation also. We have to do and follow Thakur's principles, then only it will be fruitful. Or else it is of no use. Without doing anything, we should not cry saying that nothing happened or I didn't get any positive result after taking initiation. We should not blame upon Sree Thakur. It is the work we do based on Thakur's principles that decides our life. Once a devotee questioned why there is so much conflict in getting prestige in life. Sree Thakur said that by keeping the foundation right, everything has to be adjusted meaningfully. What I said it has to be done in such a way that I do not want any prestige of mine. Thakur, you be happy. Whether you love me or not, I will love you. I will do your work. Your follow-up, your karma is my karma. I will walk with integrity. Loyalty means to be engaged with the intent. The devotee said again that it does not, the devotee again said that you ask me to take initiation. If I consider myself as an ideal, then the work will not be done. Then Sri Thakur said, no, it does not happen like this. Once a devotee asked Sri Thakur, what if I follow Hitler as my living ideal? Then Sri Thakur told that then you would become Hitler, but would not become Jesus Christ, the Supreme Lord. So I will share one small instance with Sri Thakur. There was one devotee named Bacha Prasad. He was a student of ISC at Scottish Church College, Kolkata in India. He had to come to Chhapra, his hometown, for a vacation. That time, you would be knowing the Kesi Das Rasgulla was very famous. So he bought 2 boxes of Rasgullas to bring to his home. When he was coming to Chhapra, on the way, Jasidi station also falls. So when Jasidi station came on the way to Chhapra, as soon as it reached the station, he suddenly thought that he would go to Chhapra by another train also, after having darshan of Sri Thakur at Devghar. So at once he got down and came to Devghar. It was evening time. As soon as the prayer was over, he bowed down to Thakurji and started looking at his divine forehead. Immediately, Sri Thakur saw him and said, "Hey, Rasagolla kothay?" Sri Thakurji asked him, "Where is the Rasgulla?" So Bacha Prasad was embarrassed and said, "Thakurji, Rasgulla is in the briefcase. I will bring it immediately." He went and took one of the boxes of Rasgulla, thinking that he will give the other box to his family. Though he should have taken both the boxes to Sri Thakur, but there was a selfishness and he tried to hide it from Thakur. As soon as the box of Rasgulla was given to Sri Thakur, Thakur became very happy. There was no limit to the happiness. After some time, Sri Thakur told him, "Listen, you give the other box of Rasgulla which is there in your briefcase to your family." See, this is our Antaryami Sri Thakur, who knows everything going in our mind and guide us accordingly. I want to tell you that we all are so lucky to have Sri Thakur in our life. It makes me remember of that story of cow and the tiger, where the cow and tiger both are trapped in a muddy land, and the tiger is shocked by seeing the cow smiling in place of fearing. When asked by the tiger, the cow said that now it's time. It started getting dark, so now my master will come and search me and I will be saved. But what will happen to you? So this is not the main story. The main point is that this is why Sri Thakur left us with Acharya Pratha, so that we all have someone to reach in our tough times. There is someone live to guide us in our life. I would like to share one story related to Acharyadev Sri Dada. I will narrate this story in Hindi only. एक बार श्री आचार्यदेव श्री दादा कलकत्ता उत्सव में आए थे. जब वो उत्सव से वापस लौट रहे थे तो उन्होंने अपने ड्राइवर से कहा कि तुम क्या मुझे चाय पिलाओगे? ड्राइवर ने कहा, जी दादा, आगे, मैं अभी कहीं गाड़ी देखकर, दुकान देखकर कहीं गाड़ी रोकता हूँ। ड्राइवर खोजते हुए चल रहा था कि कहीं अच्छा सा होटल देखकर आचार्यदेव दादा को चाय पिलाऊंगा। जब एक होटल आया तो दादा ने कहा, ड्राइवर ने पूछा दादा से, दादा यहाँ पे रुकूं? तो आचार्यदेव दादा ने मना कर दिया, नहीं आगे चलो। ऐसे बोलते बोलते 2-3 दुकान पार कर दिए। फिर चलते चलते एक छोटा सा ढाबा देखकर दादा बोले, आचार्य दादा बोले, यहाँ पर गाड़ी रोको, मैं यहीं पे पीऊंगा चाय। ड्राइवर भी हैरान। फिर भी ड्राइवर बोला, मैं चाय लेकर आता हूँ, आप गाड़ी पे बैठिए। ढाबे में जाकर ड्राइवर बोले कि एक अच्छे से स्पेशल चाय बना के दो, मेरे दादा गाड़ी में है, उनके लिए। चाय बनाते बनाते जब एक ग्राहक ने पैसा दिया तो उसे लेकर चाय वाले ने अपने पैसे का जो एक बॉक्स होता है उन लोग के पास, उस बॉक्स को खोलकर जब उसमें पैसा रखा तो ड्राइवर का नजर उस बक्से में पड़ा। वहां देखता है कि श्री ठाकुर, आचार्यदेव श्री दादा, बड़मा, सबकी फोटो वहां पे लगी हुई है। तो उसने देखकर चाय वाले से पूछा कि आप क्या गुरु भाई है? आप क्या श्री ठाकुर के दीक्षा लिए है? तो चाय वाले ने कहा, जी हाँ। ड्राइवर ने फिर पूछा, क्या तुम कभी देवघर आश्रम गए हो? और फिर वो बक्सा में आचार्यदेव दादा का तस्वीर दिखाते हुए बोला कि क्या कभी दादा को देखे हो? तो चाय वाले ने बताया कि वो बहुत ही गरीब है और इस ढाबे के सहारे अपना गुजारा होता है। देवघर कभी जा नहीं पाया और बहुत दिन पहले एक हादसा हो गया था। क्या हादसा हुआ था कि वो पैसा जोड़कर रखा था देवघर जाने के लिए, आश्रम जाने के लिए, लेकिन उसके ढाबे पे एक चोरी हो जाती है और इसी कारण जो भी पैसा वो जुगाड़ करके रखा था, जोड़ कर रखा था, सब उसमें चोरी हो गया था। तो फिर वो ढाबे वाले ने बताया कि मैंने ठाकुर से प्रार्थना किया कि ठाकुर, शायद मेरे भाग्य में आश्रम जाना नहीं है, अब मैं और नहीं जाऊंगा, अब आप ही को मुझे दर्शन देना होगा। तो फिर जब चाय ड्राइवर को देते हैं तो ड्राइवर बोलता है कि जाओ, तुम ही चाय देकर आओ, गाड़ी में मेरे दादा है, तुम ही जाकर चाय देके आओ। तो चाय वाला बोलता है कि अब मैं और एक क्षण भी दुकान खाली छोड़कर नहीं जाता हूं। फिर ड्राइवर ने उसे भरोसा दिलाते हुए बोला कि जाओ, मैं यही रुका हूं, तुम देकर आओ, तब तक मैं यहीं पे खड़ा हूं। बहुत बोलने के बाद जब चाय वाला गाड़ी में जाकर चाय देता है, गेट खोलते ही देखता है, थोड़ा अचंभित होता है पहले, फिर मन ही मन सोचता है कि ये तो आश्रम के आचार्यदेव श्री दादा है। और देखते देखते आंखें में थोड़ा पानी आ जाता है, थोड़ा छलछल हो जाता है और सोचता है कि ये तो आश्रम के ही दादा है। और धीरे धीरे आंख से आंसू गिरने लगता है। तब श्री दादा बोलते हैं उनको कि किरे, কি হলো তোর? অনেক দিন থেকে ভেবে রেখেছিস যে আশ্রম আসবি না, আসলে আমাকেই আসতে হবে, তাই তো আমি এসছি, আর এখন এসছি তো তুই কাঁদছিস। So this is our Acharyadev Sri Dada, who is concerned about each and every single devotee. So only thing is that he knows everything. We don't need to worry about what will happen or what to do, but we should worry only about only him and his sayings, how to cultivate those things in our life. One Bani of Sri Thakur about this is, ভাবছো বসে চলবে কিসে, ভাববার তুমি কে, ভাববার যিনি ভাবছেন তিনি, তুমি ভাবো তাকে. So with this, I would like to conclude my speech and request you all to pardon me if anything wrong has been said by me. Okay, Jai Guru to everyone. Be happy and safe. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru Rathikanto Bhai, what
Jai
an
Guru, Jai Guru.
it was lovely to hear from you. See, you have raised and discussed some very relevant questions within this short period of time. Like, discussed it, why did Thakur come to this world? And why should we take initiation? And how much, the key point was how much actually we surrender to Thakur. So that is the main or the key aspect of our understanding or of our attachment with Thakur. And you have narrated such insightful incidents in Sri Sri Thakur's life, and you shared such an inspiring experience of the driver and the tea stall boy with Sri Sri Dada. We loved it, absolutely loved it. So that's why it reminds me of one Bani over here. Thakur says, unicentral attachment, intensity, and continuity, these in one lead the life towards beauty, success, and prosperity. Jai Guru Rathikanto Bhai, our very best wishes, and we pray to Thakur for all your future endeavors. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. So now I will move on to the next participant, and we will now listen to a kirtan, and we have Obijit Bhai and Korobi from Newcastle, UK, who will offer a kirtan at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Thakur.
দয়াল তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলোয়, তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলোয় কাটলো মোহে আঁধারো রাশি। দয়াল তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলোয়, তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলো, তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলোয়, তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলো কাটলো মোহে আধারো রাশি। দয়াল তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলো, তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলো কাটলো মোহে আধারো রাশি। নন্দনারই উঠল জোয়ার, নন্দনারই উঠল জোয়ার, নন্দনারই উঠল জোয়ার, নন্দনারই উঠল জোয়ার জাগলো ধরায় সুখেরও হাসি। নন্দনারই উঠল জোয়ার, নন্দনারই উঠল জোয়ার জাগলো ধরায় সুখেরও হাসি। অগমরে রাজারও রাজা ভরে ত্রিভুবন, তুমি নামা মৃত্যু ছড়িয়ে দিয়ে খুললে আলো রং, তুমি নামা মৃত্যু ছড়িয়ে দিলে খুললে আলো রং। অগমরে রাজারও রাজা ভরে ত্রিভুবন, তুমি নামা মৃত্যু ছড়িয়ে দিয়ে খুললে আলো রং, তুমি নামা মৃত্যু ছড়িয়ে দিলে খুললে আলো রং। মদের পূর্ণ তনু শঙ্কাহরণ ডঙ্কা বাজে, শঙ্কাহরণ ডঙ্কা বাজে, শঙ্কাহরণ ডঙ্কা বাজে, শঙ্কাহরণ ডঙ্কা বাজে অষ্টকাশে বাধালো নাসি। সদা শঙ্কাহরণ ডঙ্কা বাজে, শঙ্কাহরণ ডঙ্কা বাজে অষ্টকাশে বাধালো নাসি। দয়াল তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলোয়, তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলোয় কাটলো মোহে আঁধারো রাশি। দয়াল তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলোয়, তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বল আলোয় কাটলো মোহে আঁধারো রাশি। তুমি আছো আর কি মোদের চাই, দয়াল তোমার মাঝে যেন পাই সকল পূর্ণতাই, তোমার মাঝে নিত্য যেন সকল পূর্ণ পাই। তুমি আছো আর কি মদের চাই দয়াল তোমার মাঝে নিত্য যে পাই সকল পূর্ণতাই
দয়াল তোমার মাঝে নিত্য যে পাই সকল পূর্ণ পাই
আর চাওয়ার কিছুই নেই চাওয়ার কিছুই নেই চাওয়ার কিছুই নেই আর চাওয়ার কিছুই নেই চাওয়ার কিছুই নেই চাওয়ার কিছুই নেই তুমি সকল জনাই পূরণ করো
সকল জনাই পূরণ করো
সকল জনাই পূরণ করো
সকল জনাই পূরণ করো
শান্তি বিলাই অবিনাশী তুমি সকল জনাই পূরণ করো সকল জনাই পূরণ করো শান্তি বিলাই অবিনাশী দয়াল তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালয়
তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালয়
তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালয়
তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালয়
কাটলো মোহে আধারো রাশি দয়াল তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালয় তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালয় কাটলো মোহে আধারো রাশি কি আনন্দ দুলিয়ে দিলে মোরে
কি আনন্দে দুলিয়ে দিলে মোরে
কি আনন্দ দুলিয়ে দিলে মোরে
কি আনন্দে দুলিয়ে দিলে মোরে
আমি মাতাল হলাম দয়াল তোমার পাওয়ার সুখের ঘরে
মাতাল হলাম দয়াল তোমার পাওয়ার সুখের ঘরে
আমি মাতাল হলাম দয়াল তোমার পাওয়ার সুখের ঘরে
মাতাল হলাম দয়াল তোমার পাওয়ার সুখের ঘরে
বাঁচিতে তোমার মাঝে রে তোমার মাঝে রে তোমার মাঝে রে বাঁচিতে তোমার মাঝে রে তোমার মাঝে রে তোমার মাঝে রে তুমি দয়া করে মোদের ঘরে
দয়া করে মোদের ঘরে
দয়া করে মোদের ঘরে
দয়া করে মোদের ঘরে
দাঁড়ালে গো এবারও আসি হে দয়া করে মোদের ঘরে দয়া করে মোদের ঘরে দাঁড়ালে গো এবারও আসি দয়াল আমরা তোমায় ভালোবাসি আমরা তোমায় ভালোবাসি 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 দয়াল আমরা তোমায় ভালোবাসি আমরা তোমায় ভালোবাসি 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 দয়াল তোমার টানে তোমার টানে তোমার টানে তোমার টানে তাই বাজিয়ে দিলবাসি তোমার টানে তোমার টানে তোমার টানে তোমার টানে তাই বাজিয়ে দিলবাসি হে নন্দনারয় উঠল জোয়ার নন্দনারয় উঠল জোয়ার জাগলো ধরায় সুখেরও হাসি দয়াল তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালো তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালো কাটলো মোহে আধারো রাশি দয়াল তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালো তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালো কাটলো মোহে আধারো রাশি দয়াল তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালো তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালো কাটলো মোহে আধারো রাশি দয়াল তোমার প্রেমে উজ্জ্বলালো কাটলো মোহে আধারো রাশি জয় গুরু শ্রী
জয়
Joy Guru Abhijit and Kauravi. I don't think I have got any words to tell you. Absolutely speechless, mesmerizing. What an energetic kirtan you just now performed. See, it's your energy, your vigor, your liveliness, your oomph, like, that bit of excitement that you always show has actually raised this platform very high. And you always perform these new kirtans at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Thakur. And we always enjoy listening to both of you. So we pray to Thakur for your continuous energy, vigor, and liveliness. and hope you continue offering such devotional songs to Thakur. May you both always stay like this way. Jai Guru. Jai Guru. So now that Abhijit and Corby has raised the platform to a very high standard, we still will continue with this energetic environment and listen to another kirtan. And this time, I would like to invite Shuprakash team from Germany to offer a kirtan at the Lotus Feet. Jai Guru Shurajit and your team.
সকলকে জানাই প্রাণানন্দিত জয়গুরু। আজকের এই মহতি সৎসঙ্গ উৎসবে আমরা যোগদান করতে পেরে অত্যন্ত আনন্দিত আপ্লুত। আমরা আজকে ঠাকুরের শ্রী রাতুল চরণে একটি বাংলা কীর্তন পরিবেশন করার চেষ্টা করব। জয়গুরু। তোরা
Baba
Absolutely mind-blowing, Shurojit and your team. Absolutely mind-blowing. We are now fully charged and completely wordless. There's nothing to say about after the performance that you made. Shuprakash team, you like Shurojit, let me not call you Shuprakash team all the time. Shurojit, Orpita, Pranay, Shuchishmita, and all of you, you rock as far as kirtans are concerned. Absolutely wonderful. And it's not only a team from Germany, I think it's probably a Netherlands and Germany team that has joined today. Thank you very much. And may all you move on together with this indomitable enthusiasm and continue leading an Ishtamai life. That is our prayer to Sri Sri Thakur. I pray to Thakur for you and your family's well-being. Jai Guru. Jai Guru. Right. After listening to two kirtans, we are absolutely speechless and elevated to a very high standard. But now it is time for us to listen to another Ishta Prashango. And for this Ishta Prashango, I would like to welcome our own SPR, Prashno Shanture from UK, who is a graduate from Cambridge University and also an ardent devotee of Sri Sri Thakur. And we all know that Prashno speaks very eloquently while expressing Thakur's views. So Joy Guru Prashno, over to you now.
Joy Guru.
Joy.
With the quality of the jajan, the kirtans, the bhajans that has preceded, it's quite difficult for me to follow in what I have to offer. And with such praise, also, you've only increased the difficulty. But strangely enough, the first speaker, Dr. Binay Sharkarda, he talked about environmental sustainability, and I have an interest in environmental sustainability. And it was quite interesting how, as a successful academic, he had tied the issues that we are facing in the world today to the messages that Thakur had given us. And it was doubly inspiring that as an academic steeped in science, pursuing science and expanding the forefront of science still has an immense value and appreciation for everything that Thakur gave us. I also want to comment on the fact that I was just watching a documentary that was published on the BBC the other day to do with the water crisis that is developing around the world and how that is linked to climate change. And as I was watching that, and they were talking about how things have evolved over this last couple of decades, I was thinking mentally that in a number of instances, they highlighted a problem of consciousness. And just I, as a viewer, as I was watching that documentary, was thinking that consciousness is something that if we tackled and appreciated how a lack of consciousness has an effect or devastating effect in this world, and how that these effects, these negative effects, can be mitigated by growing consciousness, then we understand that actually this spiritual practice, which is pursuing consciousness, has a very pragmatic and real effect in this world. So what they were saying, just in short, was that the climate change is causing an extremity in rainfall in some places and drought in other areas. And in 2010, what they saw was that there was drought in Australia, there was drought in China, there was drought in the Middle East and Russia. And this was affecting the grain supplies. Now, if you have less supply of a product, then the prices are going to increase. As the prices increased, that was exacerbated by commodities traders. They think if something is expensive, then that's valuable. So let's buy it up, store it, and that's our stock. And then we can sell it at a higher price later. So the price of grain, the price of wheat or the farm products that were already increasing in price owing to the drought-stricken areas, that increased even further. And that meant that some areas, the poorest regions, were struggling to get sufficient food just because of these incredibly high prices. That fueled anger and discontent in the region. That then led to political riots. That then led to regime change. Civil war broke out. There was mass emigration. That affected the politics in other regions of the world, seeing what was going on in one particular region of the world. And at each stage, as they were going through this chain of this events, the dominoes that were toppling around, the panic buying, that's an element of consciousness, or the fact that traders can make a profit by buying up a scarce resource, making it even more scarce. That's another point of consciousness, or a lack thereof, or ignoring the situation of the water crisis and what it can have with the repercussions on my own nation or my own citizens in years to come, even though it's happening before me, or the data, the science is showing me that it's happening here right now, is a matter of consciousness. I'll give you another example. There's a satellite system that NASA installed 15 years ago, collecting data for 15 years, and that massive, vast amount of data is allowed them to analyze how much groundwater is in the regions around the world, and that they could see that owing to drought, one particular area was draining their groundwater at an alarming rate, and that could cause political instability. These scientists even went to the military intelligence to warn of the consequences. So this social awareness amongst the scientists were there, but the key stakeholders, or the gatekeepers, they disregarded that science. And sure enough, there was a certain political instability. It was quite interesting. But it shows that consciousness has quite vast repercussions on the local scale, on the global scale. And often when it comes to consciousness or matters of realization of the factors that influence the world around us, people think, well, science is there to help us. Technology is there to solve the problem. But here, these factors of science, this knowledge, this awareness was there, but the motivation, owing to other inclinations or other interests that countered these advice of the social scientists and the researchers, prevailed. And that's what led to the problems ensuing. And as for technology being a solution, definitely, technology is very helpful, but it has to be managed, and it's we who manage it. We see that technology in the form of social media has its positives, but there has been many reportings on stress and anxiety caused from it, just because of the way people message, interact, and the bullying that goes on there, the misinformation. We also know about cyber theft and cyber attacks. So technology has its strength, and we can correctly use that strength, or we can misuse that strength. And this is where consciousness, as in heart, in spirit, that needs to be awakened. That's what these symptoms are telling us. And I propose, or I would like to establish during the course of this talk, that adhering to a living ideal, that can really solve this problem of consciousness. That can awaken the consciousness within. And just as we can see a domino effect tumbling from the local scale to a global scale, so too can consciousness at the individual level, or an expansion of that consciousness, in conjunction with adherence to a living ideal, can propagate from the microcosm to the greater world. And here I would say the mechanism is simple. Tiny drops of water, humble grains of sand, makes the mighty ocean and our noble land. So, if we pay attention to each individual drop of humanity, each individual person, or grain of sand of humanity, each individual person, this is the surefire way by which we can have peace at every level of society. But this is quite a mammoth task, and it's an ideal task, it's an ideal solution, but is it possible? And this is where someone who has this extreme positivity by an explosion of love solving the people's real life problems, immersing himself in the harsh realities of life, and working himself through what is a useful solution gives one that positivity and that conviction that yes, it is possible. And I would like to propose that such a living ideal we see in the person of Sri Thakur, through his own life, the experimentation with what could be a solution to the problems of life, and the principles after having demonstrated his solutions, how we too can benefit according to him. And if we assimilate and congregate, gather around him, slowly but surely in greater numbers, then you can see his ideality is propagating to the wider society. So it's with this that I want to approach this, what I see as the problem of consciousness in the society. And I have great faith in the human ability, but this awakenment of human capability has to be through adherence to the living ideal. And I know that may sound abstract, but then there are many things even in science that are abstract, just like quantum physics or general relativity. It's mind-boggling if you start to read it as a layman, but they have real consequences in our day-to-day life. If we think about plugging in an electrical item, if the physics of quantum physics were not true, that electricity would not flow. I'll not go into that. But the point is, just because something is complex, just because there's something beyond that which we can conceive, that doesn't mean it's not true. That doesn't mean it's not useful. That's the point I'm trying to make. Certainly, we can say immediately that it's no surprise that adhering to someone who is ideal can have repercussions on, can have a positive expansion on the whole of society. Why? Because surely part of that ideality is love. And not only that, part of that ideality is the love for the love, meaning him. So if we love that ideal person who has this great expansive heart and a heart attuned to the Lord, if we love him, it's no surprise that we will love what he loves. We will love the Lord. And if we believe that the Lord is omnipresent, then in everything from humanity to the birds and the beasts and even the inanimate objects, we will love in as much as we love him. So this is really paying attention to the source, that which is really at the very base of my being, the foundation of my being. I have to realize that my personality is built on a certain urge. And without that urge, I would have no personality. That fundamental urge is this wanting a oneness with him whom I come from. And this is where the living ideal, ironically or perhaps counterintuitively, comes in. Because I talk about my inner being, so why should I pay attention to someone who is external to me? And the reason is this, that I have the Lord buried deep down within me, but under many, 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 many layers of complexities, or rather I should say complexes. We are children of the Lord if we are to believe Sri Thakur, Anukulchandra, or any of the great forefathers and seers of the past. But we have many maladjusted qualities. And when we see someone in whom all the qualities are adjusted, that godliness becomes vibrant. It becomes apparent to us. Then that person is pure. And just like a tranquil lake, like a pure water, we can see a reflection of ourselves, and we can see in that reflection where our maladjustments are. And that is our opportunity to correct them. But it's not just knowledge. True, the living ideal is demonstrating what is ideal in human life. He is demonstrating through his words, his deeds, his contacts, and we can see exactly what is ideal, why it's ideal. Because his ideality is proven by the consequences of his words, deeds, and actions. The fact that it is pushing us, pushing him and all of us in the direction of life and growth, that is the indication that, aha, this is the person with the solutions. This is the person who can solve my crises. And often it's not just crises which hinder us in life, that present problems in life. Often my day-to-day has many fetters for me realizing the very purpose of my life. So before I move on to my next point, I want to highlight the fact that we have to adhere to someone. And the reason I want to just highlight this is often we feel, especially in this modern age of advanced science, of so much knowledge right at the tip of my fingers, just a click away on the internet or libraries or whatever other sort of resource, still the living ideal is absolutely indispensable. And why? That is because if I want to acquire wisdom from all of these various places, true, I can go to a university, I can go to a library, I can search on Google. I've acquired all of that which I've learned from these places. Or I can go out into society and serve charitably, or as a serviceable and useful business. Maybe I'm earning money, but that doesn't make it any less useful. Still, all of these experiences, these enrichments are there. I've acquired them in one means or another, maybe my own experimentation, but they're all disintegrated. They're just like pockets. I have this. But how do I chain them together in a necklace through one common thread? It's just like me, my whole body. I am one organism per se, but I came from just one cell, and that cell divided, and I have all of this variety within the organ. I have my heart, my liver, my brain, my eyes, but all came from one cell. So similarly, all the varieties of life, we want to connect meaningfully. Otherwise, they're just disintegrated lumps. I can say a bit of interesting things here and things here, but it's just that. The meaning, and here's another thing about meaning and purpose. Why? Why should I acquire all of this knowledge? Yeah, okay, maybe I have an inclination, but the why is always a motivation of love. And there again, the living ideal comes in. Because I love the living ideal, I want to adhere to him, I fully surrender to him. It's in this, surrender, is in this surrender that I can overcome all of my personal traps and obstacles, likings, dislikings. I myself here, I know I'm sounding like someone who is an expert. I'm no such expert. I'm rather an enthusiast. And everything that I'm saying, by the way, is all because of what I've gleaned from Sree Thakur's own words himself. I'm just so enthused by the enlightenment. I used to have this query. Why a living ideal when we have a library or a university or such things? It was Thakur who said full surrender is necessary. And interestingly, I sit here in Britain. I was born and brought up in Britain. It was a British soldier absolutely hurt by the conflict of the world wars that propelled him somehow by some means to Sree Thakur. And he just, as a Christian, he said, Jesus talked about the love for the Lord and love for one another. I see no love for the Lord. I see no brotherhood. I see no unity. And Thakur said to him, and he made the point that surely latent within each person is this ability to love. So where is this love? And Thakur said to him, yeah, that ability to love is latent within a human, but so too is malice. So too is this violence. And until that violence or this propensity to violence is regulated and restrained, then there's always this opportunity that will prevail. So how do you restrain it? How do you regulate it? The restraint is by love, and the regulation is by seeing the means to regulate, and that is the demonstration of the living ideal. And this person was actually a Christian. He was a devotee of Jesus Christ. And that person said to him, how can I adhere to Jesus when I have nothing but my imagination and the Bible, which I do not understand? Thakur said to him, you have to find someone who is absorbed in him. And I take away from that I have my living ideal in the form of Acharyadev. I want to know Sri Thakur, Anukulchandra. I want to abide by him. I want to explore him. I have the opportunity to read the books according to Sri Thakur's and find out how I can lead my life according to Sri Thakur's principles. But still, I'm using a little bit of my imagination. I can only understand what I read according to what I understand. And that is definitely influenced by my complexes, which will color my ignorance. But the fact that by his grace and mercy, Sri Thakur has left the system of Acharya. He installed Sri Borda as the first Acharya, and after him, our present Acharyadev, Sri Dada, is a living ideal who himself, if you pay attention, is absolutely always absorbed in Sri Thakur. And so by adherence to him, which is also Thakur's wish, we can still, even in the present day, adhere to, discover, and actually follow, despite any of my preferences or ill preferences. Sri Thakur. Joy Guru.
Joy Guru Proshno. I was actually carried away listening to your jargon. What a superb, it was a very insightful jargon that you actually did. And it's talking about consciousness. That is so important. So in order to, we talk about consciousness, you did mention that we need to awaken our consciousness. And for that, we can do this by gaining knowledge or becoming wiser, from the outside, from technological devices. But unless we actually adjust our complexes, that only will have an impact on our conduct and behavior. Then our consciousness is actually awakened. And as you mentioned, if we adjust our consciousness, then obviously the society's consciousness, although you mentioned that it can be an idealistic thought, but that can also gradually happen. Absolutely a wonderful jargon from you, Proshno. May you stay blessed with Thakur's blessings, and I pray to Thakur for you and your family's well-being. Joy Guru Proshno. And now we have come to the last performance, and which will be another kirtan by our very own SPR, Joshika.
ठाकुर जी किया देखो निकली सवारी, देखो निकली सवारी, ठाकुर जी किया देखो निकली सवारी, देखो निकली सवारी, ठाकुर जी की याद, देखो निकली सवारी, देखो निकली सवारी। आओ नर नारी, 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 आओ नर नारी। गुणी ज्ञानी छोड़ो मनमानी, मत कर तू अभिमानी रे। गुणी ज्ञान मानी, मत कर तू अभिमानी रे। जीवन यौवन 4 दिनों का, फिर पीछे पछतानी रे। जीवन जो भी देता ठाकुर देता, जो भी देता, जो भी देता ठाकुर देता, जो भी देता ठाकुर जी की लीला है न्यारी रे। बोलो ठाकुर जी की लीला, देखो निकली सवारी, देखो निकली सवारी। ठाकुर जी की याद, आओ नर नारी, आओ नर नारी, आओ नर नारी, आओ नर, आओ नर नारी, आओ नर नारी, आओ नर नारी, आओ नर नारी। राम रहीम अल्लाह यीशु, सब ही ठाकुर में समाये। राम रहीम अल्लाह यीशु, उनकी लीला वो ही जाने, कोई समझ ना पाए। उनकी लीला वो ही जाने, जो भी देता ठाकुर देता, जो भी देता ठाकुर देता। ठाकुर जी की लीला है न्यारी रे। बोलो ठाकुर जी की याद, देखो निकली सवारी, देखो निकली सवारी। ठाकुर जी की याद, आओ नर नारी, 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 आओ नर नारी। एक तरफ श्री बड़वा विराजे, एक तरफ बड़दा साजे। एक तरफ श्री, एक तरफ बड़दा साजे, एक तरफ श्री बड़वा विराजे, एक तरफ बड़दा साजे। बीच में त्रिभुवन के मालिक, बीच में त्रिभुवन के मालिक, शोभा लगे अति न्यारी रे। बोलो ठाकुर जी की याद, देखो निकली सवारी, देखो निकली सवारी। तोरे कंचन की दैया माटी में मिल जाए, सिया राम भजो रे। तोरे कंचन की दहिया माटी में मिल जाए, सिया राम भजो रे। सिया राम भजो रे, सिया राम भजो रे, सिया ठाकुर भजो रे, अनुकूल भजो रे, सिया ठाकुर भजो रे, ठाकुर भजो, अनुकूल भजो रे। ओरे कंचन की दहिया माटी में मिल जाए, सिया राम भजो रे। ओरे कंचन की दहिया माटी में मिल जाए, सिया राम भजो रे। राधे 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 तू शाम से मिला दे, राधे 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 तू शाम से मिला, राधे 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 मुझे शाम से मिला दे, शाम से मिला दे घन, शाम से मिला दे, राधे शाम से मिला दे घन, शाम से मिला दे, शाम से मिला दे घन, शाम से मिला दे। राधे 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 मुझे शाम से मिला दे, राधे राधे राधे। अरे गाओ 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 राधा राधा राधा, अरे राधा 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 राधा, अरे गाओ 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 राधा 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 राधा। अरे राधे 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 मुझे शाम से मिला दे, अरे हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, केशव माधव गोविंद बोल, हरि बोल बोल हरि हरि बोल, केशव माधव गोविंद बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, केशव माधव गोविंद बोल। केशव माधव गोविंद बोल, हरि बोल देव माधव गोविंद बोल, चैतन्य राम कृष्ण अनुकूल बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, केशव माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव अनुकूल बोल, अरे ठाकुर 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 अनुकूल बोल, हरि बोल केशव माधव गोविंद बोल, अरे हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, केशव माधव गोविंद बोल। तोरे कंचन की दहिया माटी में मिल जाए, सिया राम भजो रे, तोरे कंचन की माटी में मिल जाए, सिया राम भजो रे, तोरे कंचन की दहिया माटी में मिल जाए, सिया राम भजो रे। अरे ठाकुर जी किया देखो निकली सवारी, देखो निकली सवारी। जय गुरु।
Jai Guru Yogeshwar. Absolutely fantastic, simply fantastic, awesome, and such an energetic kirtan. Yogeshwar, Sarika, Aditya, what a superb family kirtan. It is always a pleasure to kirtans, Yogeshwar. Jai Guru Aditya.
Jai.
To join us and offer such energetic kirtans at the lotus feet of Sree Thakur. May you and your family continue singing this way. And I pray to Thakur for you and your family's well-being. Jai Guru. Jai Guru. So, Shushantada, please can you give the dhoni?
Yeah. Bande Purushotamam.
Bande
Purushotamam.
Bande Purushotamam.
Bande Purushotamam.
Bande Purushotamam.
Bande Purushotamam.
Param Prema Sree Thakur Anukulchandra ji ki.
परम प्रेममय श्री श्री ठाकुर अनुकूलचंद्र जी की
जय।
परम प्रेममय श्री श्री ठाकुर अनुकूलचंद्र जी की
जय।
परम राध्या जगत जननी श्री श्री वर्मा की
जय।
परम राध्या जगत जननी श्री श्री वर्मा की
जय।
परम राध्या जगत जननी श्री श्री वर्मा की
जय।
परम पूज्य पाद श्री श्री वरदा की
जय।
परम पूज्य पाद श्री श्री वरदा की
जय।
परम पूज्य पाद श्री श्री वरदा की
जय।
परम पूज्य पाद आचार्य देव श्री श्री दादा की
जय।
परम पूज्य पाद आचार्य देव श्री श्री दादा की
जय।
परम पूज्य पाद आचार्य देव श्री श्री दादा की
जय।
सत्संग की
जय।
सत्संग की
जय।
सत्संग की
जय।
वंदे पुरुषोत्तमम
वंदे पुरुषोत्तमम
वंदे आर्य प्रीतिन
वंदे आर्य
वंदे मातृवर्गान
वंदे मातृवर्गम
वंदे अहं कृष्टि देवतम
वंदे अहं कृष्टि देवतम
वंदे पुरुषोत्तमम
वंदे पुरुषोत्तमम
वंदे पुरुषोत्तमम
वंदे पुरुषोत्तमम।
परम प्रेम श्री श्री ठाकुर जी का 134th बर्थ एनिवर्सरी की
जय।